So after Hurricane Ian, we acquired the assets of a Florida-based law firm. It was a terrible business decision for us. Not like put us in the like poorhouse or anything decision, but it was a bad culture fit. Um, but we're here to talk about operations though. At the end of the day, we had one way of doing things and they had another way of doing things. And what we learned very quickly is that they would never do things the way we did them. But there was something really good that came out of this, which is we tried like hell to get them to do things our way. And we found out we couldn't. So let's talk about why we couldn't get them to do things our way, besides obstinates.
Well, at that time, we were still training people by osmosis. We had procedures in the way that we did things, but we didn't have them written down, and they were mostly based upon Louisiana cases and the way we worked files here in Louisiana. But the firm that Galen decided to acquire was in Florida.
We acquired their assets.
Or we acquired their assets. They were in Florida, so they handled their cases completely differently.
I like that Galen decided to do, which is fair, but
yeah, it was fair.
Feels like
it was fair.
So anyway, but yeah, so we found out you apparently cannot remotely train an entire law firm by osmosis because they're not sitting with you all the time. We even flew people out there, and it just wasn't enough. And at the end of the day, it was a bad deal. It was a deal that should not have been done, and we ended up there was an ability to unwind the deal, so we did, but we're still fighting over it in court. But nevertheless, but a really good thing came out of it. What came out of it?
We learned that we needed to get things down in writing and have a better training system in place, which then kind of spread all throughout the firm to intake, case management, and everything. If we had that now, if we did that again, we would have that in place. We could say, okay, hey, go check out these training materials that we have. We would probably still have to send someone out there to kind of help them with some things, but we would have everything set up in a much better way.
And I think that's the biggest piece, right? Is we would have had those SOPs, and that could have even been part of the discussion. Hey, here's how we do things. Why don't you take a look at them? Under an NDA, of course, but why don't you take a look at them? Because if you're not on board, we shouldn't even invest the time or money in doing this deal. We shouldn't even move into diligence. If you're not going to do things the way we're going to do things, this is going to be an unhappy marriage and we're going to end up in a divorce. So let's not get married, right?
And we were very fortunate that I think it might have even been less than a month before we acquired them where we switched over to RAM. Had we still been using those Amex cards, we would have had a big problem because they wouldn't have had any way to pay for their filing fees.
Yeah, fair.
And a hurricane had just hit.